Hey guys, it's Pinkstar and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be doing my November wrap up. I read 4 books in November. Wasn't the most, but it wasn't too bad considering I spent most of the month playing God of War, and then the new Warcraft expansion came out, so I was playing that as well. Yeah, so reading wasn't as high on the priority list, unfortunately, but that's fine. Also, my little doggy has been really sick for the last month, and I found out that she's actually got cancer in her lungs, so yeah, we don't know how long she's going to be with us, which is really sad, and I'm going to try not to cry. But yeah, I love her to pieces, so I'm really sad. But anyway, I'm trying to be happy and talk about my books and things, but I just thought I'd let you guys know what's been happening with me. And yeah. Because if you've watched my vlogs in the past, you will have seen her lots. Yeah, Chi is my oldest, she's 12. Yeah. Alright, let's just get on with the wrap up and try not to be upset. Alright, so first up in November I read Queen of Broken Realms. This is the 3rd book in the Shadow Realms trilogy, I think. I'm pretty sure it's just a trilogy. Yeah, so I've read the first 2 earlier this year and loved them. I gave them both, I think, 4.5 stars. Like, absolutely loved those books. This one, unfortunately, I didn't love as much. I think the story, like the actual plot itself, wasn't as well done as the other 2. And it was a little bit odd. Yeah, and there was just it seemed like there was just a lot of sex. I mean, I love a good sex scene sometimes in my books, but most of this book was just the main characters getting it on in different places. So it felt like there just really wasn't that much of a story, and what was of the story felt a little bit forced. I do love the main character though. Lou is like one of my favourite characters. I think she's so fun. But yeah, I just don't know what it was about this book that just didn't hit it for me the way the first 2 did. We're still good. I gave this a 3.5 stars out of 5. Yeah, I was just hoping it would be better, but unfortunately it just felt a little bit flat at the end, and like for a final book, yeah, unfortunate. But I did really enjoy it. I just felt like there was a little bit too much of the main characters getting it on and not enough interesting story. There was a couple of really, really amazing moments though, and I did almost like shed a tear in one bit because it was like so heavy. I mean, it's still really good and I definitely recommend the series. I just didn't like this one as much as the first 2. Alright, next I read The Atlas 6. I finally read it. Unfortunately it wasn't a 5-star for me. I did give it 4 stars though. I did really enjoy it. The beginning was very slow and it took me a while to get into. Yeah, I do like the fact that you get each chapter from like a different character's perspective. I thought that was really cool, and kind of getting in their heads and finding out about them and their powers and things. It was really interesting, and the ending was really amazing. I did kind of work out the like twisty bit though before it happened. I kind of thought that was what was going to happen when it did, but it was slightly different to how I thought it was going to happen, if you know what I mean. That wasn't quite what I expected, but it was the same person that I expected. If you read it, you know what I mean. So I gave this 4 stars. It was my favourite book of the month, but I just wish it was higher for me. I'm thinking maybe the 2nd book might be. Yeah, depending where it goes. It is one that really makes you think, and I feel like maybe if I read it again, I might like it more. I don't know. just because now that I know what's going to happen, I might actually pick up on some things that happened earlier on, etc. But yeah, I did enjoy it. It just wasn't as amazing as I was expecting. I just think that this was like very overhyped to the point where I expected it to be way better than it was, but I did really enjoy it. It was completely different to what I expected, and anything else that I've read is like completely different, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, 4 stars. I do recommend reading it, and I'm looking forward to picking up book 2. Alright, next we have Strike the Zither. This is another book that I got from NetGalley, so it's an ARC book, and I really enjoyed this book. I also gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was very close between this one and the Atlas 6 for my favourite book of the month, but Atlas 6 just kind of took the top spot just with the amount that made me like think about it afterwards. Felt like that was more deserving, but this one was really good. It's based on the 3 kingdoms, Chinese like story, Chinese mythology, and it wasn't anything that I thought it was going to be. It was quite different. I haven't actually read anything about the 3 kingdoms, so I wasn't sure what the story was even going to entail. I was guessing 3 kingdoms, maybe fighting, and that's about it. But it's like straight off the bat, there is full on like battles, strategy. So the main character is a strategist, but her character actually changes throughout the story, which does make it really interesting. So it's from first person's perspective from the main character, and at first I didn't really like it, but it makes perfect sense for the story to have it written that way. Just when you find out later on who the actual character is, it makes perfect sense. And I did really enjoy it. I really liked one of the side characters, Crow. I thought he was fantastic, and I really want more of his story. I'm looking forward to hopefully reading more about him in the next book. Yeah, really enjoyed this. Liked the main character, liked the side characters. I didn't like the names at the beginning. It felt like they were like weird because they're all like nicknames, like Crow, Lotus, Zephyr, Cloud, and I don't know, it was just slightly odd, like them all just being called by nicknames, but I kind of got used to it. It's just, I feel like the beginning felt quite rushed, so I didn't get to really know the characters that well until later on. But yeah, later on I really enjoyed the story. About a quarter of the way in, I started to really enjoy it. It picked up, and this is split into 2 halves. So there's the first stanza and the second stanza, and the second stanza starts at like 50% of the book. So it's definitely, it's like 2 halves exactly. And yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. As I said, 4 stars. Yeah. Didn't quite hit that high mark, but it was really good, and I would definitely recommend this one. I did like Door of the Moon Goddess better than this. I just feel like the world building and everything was a lot better in Door of the Moon Goddess, but they have similar feels with the like celestial Chinese mythology sort of thing. So alright, and lastly I read The Tower of the Swallow, which is book 4. It's book 4 of The Witcher. This one I gave a 3.5 stars out of 5. So this month there was 2 3.5 stars and 2 4 stars. So it was quite a good month. This one wasn't quite as good as the last book. I feel like one thing with The Witcher, like I really love the story, but I feel like they waffle a lot. Like there's a lot of random walking, chatting that could be cut out sort of thing. Especially like random side characters saying things. And there was like one section where the end of every, like for about 2 chapters, every so often they would say have like the same paragraph after a section, and it was just slightly strange. I don't know, I felt like it was unnecessary. And as I've said before with some of the other books, I really dislike the fact that they say the person's full name over and over again. Like, I get it. I know who we're talking about. You can just use their first name, it's fine. I don't need the whole title. But anyway, I did enjoy this. I got to finally find out some more stuff about Yennefer. We got a whole heap of Geralt story and quite a bit of Ciri and what's been happening with her. We find out how she got her scar, which she has in the games, and I didn't really know what happened for that to happen, but we find out. And yeah, it was really good. The ending was really good. I am looking forward to the next one because of the ending of this one. So yeah, I do enjoy these books. They're just not as good as I would have liked them to be, just because they are quite difficult to read, the way they're written. It's very political, very waffly. If it wasn't so much waffle and random like political chat constantly, I feel like it would be so much better if we just got the full like story, action things. But yeah, that's my opinion. If you've read The Witcher and you loved it, you probably maybe love those parts and think that I'm daft for like not liking the waffle, but that's that. I'm just letting you know how I feel. Yeah, I do really enjoy it though. As I said, I think most of them I've given a 4-star and a couple of 3.5, so yeah, it's still a really good series, and I would definitely recommend picking it up, especially if you've played the Witcher games and watched the program games, especially because there's quite a few characters that we find out like how they met before the games. So yeah, I like that part. So those are really good. There's a one in here that's actually really good as well. So yeah, that's it. Alright, so that is it for this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps me out. And as always, if there's any of these books that you have read or you have any thoughts about or you want to read, let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos from me. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.